What's going on, guys? Mike here. Today we gonna go there. We're gonna talk about what is the one ingredient you need for success. And when I'm talking about success, I'm not talking about just what success looks like on paper. I'm talking about what transcends from the external to the internal. Let's be happy. Let's got joy in our lives. Let's be fulfilled, because that's what everybody really wants. And that success, that ingredient you need is character. And character is kind of a word like, okay, what does that really mean? Right? You've heard the term good character, bad character. What's it mean? Well, the Greeks would actually use it. In ancient Greek, they'd actually use the word character they'd use actually means an engraving or stamping tool. What they believed is your character is so ingrained in your DNA that it is the way you respond, behave, and act in life without awareness. It's your habits. Like your habits are derived from your character. And we all either have good habits or we got bad habits, right? You ever met someone that they constantly get in the same routines? They kind of run back into those same moods or same behaviors, right? They kind of keep doing the same things over and over again. That's because it's part of who they are. It's ingrained in their DNA. It's their character, good or bad. Now, here's the thing about good character, and this is what we're going to talk about today, is good character is derived from awareness in our lives. It's when we take that subconscious things we do and we bring it over to our conscious mind and say, you know what? I'm going to start evaluating and looking at my life. And this is what you got to understand. You ever heard the lie that says ignorance is bliss? That's a big fat lie. Listen to me. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your character. It's actually slavery. And if you want to stay a slave to the negative things in your life, and you want to stay a slave to never progressing in life, then have ignorance. But if you want to progress, we're going to be aware of where we're going. So today, we going to go. All right, let's talk about character. What's this going to look like to have strong, healthy character? Listen to me. We all want to have good marriages. We want to thrive in work. We want to have a good relationship with our children and with people. And to do that, we got to look at some things in our life and understand that our character, which fuels our habits, impact our lives. And so psychologists basically say what creates your character is actually three layers. There's three layers that actually create your character in life. The first layer is just your genetics. It's what you're born with. It's how you were born. It's your personality and preference types, right? It's why you'll have some people are introverts and some people are extroverts, right? Neither one of them are good or bad. It's just your genetics. That's kind of the way you were made. But that second layer is where a lot of stuff starts getting formed and become definitive in your life. And this is what happens when you're in your childhood. It's the way you were raised, the way you were interacted with your parents or authority figures in your life. Whether you had some tragedies or good experiences in your life really impacts the way you start functioning later in life. Think about it kind of like this. If you had a very dismissive parent that was very distant from you, right? And was never consistent in your life, and they would say they were going to be places and never were. As you grow up in life, a lot of times what happens is you now are always wary of relationships or commitments or people that say things. You always have this thought process in your mind. They're probably not going to do what they say they're going to do. Or maybe you had a parent that was very hard on you and always gave you feedback and you were never good enough and was kind of negative towards that. So now as you get up growing in life, what happens? Whenever someone gives you feedback, you're real defensive. Like you're like, because you think everything's an attack. That's formed in your childhood. Now the third layer, this is where we're at now, and this is the most important layer. This is how you become aware as an adult to the previous two layers. This is where you either become aware or you ignore. You either try to start identifying for the better, or you just say, that's just who I am, and you settle for your life, right? Have you ever heard a lot of people say, well, that's just my personality? That may be your personality, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Or you may say, well, that's just the way I was raised. You ever had somebody, well, that's just the way my parents were. That's just the way we're, and they'll use it as an excuse. That may be true, but guess what? It may be the way you're raised, but that doesn't mean it's healthy for you to continue to go down that path as an adult. So this is a place where now we're at right now, because you're looking at the podcast, you're listening to this video, you're wanting to kind of connect. We're going to start asking ourselves and being honest with some of these things in our mind and in our lives. Where are we unhealthy? Yes, you may have a personality, and a personality is not good or bad, but there are weaknesses in your personality and there's strength in your personality. You got to be aware of those weaknesses so you can build on those so you can be stronger. Same thing with your childhood. Every one of us have come through something in our childhood. Not every family was dysfunctional, but not every family was perfect. And some of the things that you've collected over the years, you don't even realize they're your defense mechanisms, they're your survival mechanisms, but they may be keeping people at bay in your life. They may be keeping you from moving forward towards goals. They may be keeping you in this fearful state that you'll never be good enough, or keeping you a prisoner to your past as you're constantly reliving the past and never living in the present or dreaming about the future. You've got to start becoming aware of that. And listen to me, your character and your development is your responsibility. The ball's in your court. Mentors can come in, people can give you feedback, but only you can choose to change. Only you can grow from it. I love the way Peter lays this out. I'm going to read it. Peter in 2 Peter chapter 1. I'm going to read 5 through 8. Watch this. In view of all this, watch this, make every effort to respond to God's promises. You see what Peter says? You got to make the effort. God's got promises for you. God's got a design for your life. God's got good things for your life. You got to make the effort. It's up to you. Ball's in your court. Supplement your faith with general provision of moral excellence, and moral excellence with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with patience, endurance, and patient endurance with godliness, and godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love for everyone. The more you grow like this, the more productive and useful you will be in your knowledge of the Lord Jesus. Did you see that? You have to make the effort, and then you've got to start identifying what are positive character traits that you need to start developing in your life, and that's going to cause you to be productive in your life. There's some productivity in your life that God wants you to start walking in. There's some things in your life you need to start walking in. But you got to make the effort. You got to make the conscious choice. We got to, in the third layer, start evaluating the second layer and the first layer in our life. And here's what I want you to get. True honesty leads to true growth. Get honest with yourself. Be real with yourself. And let's start looking at that. So I want to talk real quickly about strong character. What is strong character? What that looks like. And I believe I got this from Bill Campbell. It's a book written about Bill Campbell called The Billionaire Coach. And this is, or the Trillionaire Coach, not the Trillionaire Coach, because Bill Campbell was the coach for these billion-dollar corporations. And if you added all of their wealth together, it equaled over $1 trillion. So this guy was the coach to the top CEOs in the world. He was the best of the best. And he had this kind of framework, what he thought was strong, good, healthy culture or healthy character. And he kind of listed it out this way. And he kind of said there's 5 things you need to look at in your life. Number 1, resiliency under pressure. You don't react in the moment. Listen to me. We've all had a crazy last year or so with everything that's gone on in life. The question you got to ask yourself is, do you let your emotions lead you, or do you lead your emotions? Do you let your emotions lead to your responses, or do you evaluate, analyze your emotions, and then make the healthy response? Under pressure, do you have resiliency? And if you don't, if you feel like you're very emotional, that's something you got to start working on. That's something you got to start developing some things in your life. And maybe that's the point where you got to go, okay, I'm not going to make a decision until I have X amount of time to stop and think. I'm not going to fire off that email, fire off that text, fire off that tweet until I have a time to process it. I love the way Abe Lincoln did it. Actually, when Abe Lincoln died, they actually found stacks and stacks of letters Abe Lincoln wrote to his board, his cabinet members. And they were where he was he'd be chewing these people out, and he would write it all out, write all his aggression out, but he would never send a letter. Because he just needed to get it off his chest, but he knew it wasn't healthy to send it. And then he could respond to the pressure. He could respond to what was going on with resiliency. And this is a man, as we know, was in the most extreme pressured moment. So First one. Second one is this: attention to detail. In the boring everyday life of this, your monotony of life, are you staying patient and are you being consistent with the details? You don't reach success because you just magically leap there. You reach success because you take 365 steps forward every single year. And every single year, you're 365 steps farther along than you were before. No one went from 0 to 100 overnight. Every overnight success was the accumulation of years of hard work. And no one, and I know internet makes you think it's instant. It's not. Once you understand that, you realize in my everyday life, my everyday details, I will be the best. I will work with excellence in my everyday so I can get a little bit better. I love this idea of 1% improvement in many different areas. That's what leads you to success. There's a great book called The Power of Habits. Wonderful story about the British cycling team. I'm not going to go there because of time frame, but listen to me. They became the most dominant, not because they had the best athletes in the world, because they were actually, prior to being the most dominant outfit ever, they were the most pedestrian outfit ever. They became the best because the director realized 1% improvements in many little areas adds up towards success. That's the same with you in your life. Every single day, you have the ability to get better, the ability to just stay the same, or the ability to backtrack. But the choice is yours. Third area of strong character is you complete things. You complete things in your life. You have goals and projects, and you can actually see it from start to finish. Complete it. Now, here's the kicker with this. You need to start creating projects that are slightly above your level, okay? You need to start having projects and goals in your life that causes you to reach a little bit higher than you thought you could reach. Go a little bit more than what you thought, because you need to stretch yourself. You need to grow. You need to start every single time you complete a project. It's growing your work habits. It's growing your disciplines. It's causing you to rethink things. It's expanding yourself. Every goal should be a stretch to get to that next step. It shouldn't be an impossible leap, but it should be a stretch. So always dream a little bit bigger. A good way to do this is to write out a goal and then say, okay, that's my initial thought. Now, how can I add just a little bit more to that goal? Or have a project and go, okay, how can I make it just a little bit more? Now just turn the heat up just a little bit more in your life. Stretch yourself. All right, number 4, work with the team. Every decision you make should be with this idea: is this the best for the team? Am I making the team better? The worst kind of character you can have is a selfish character. The worst kind of character you can have is an inward thinking character. The worst type of person you could be is an I person, not a team person. Listen to me. You've got to think about people. Now, you may be saying, well, Pastor Mike, I'm a solo entrepreneur. I don't really have a team. I work. Listen to me. I'm sure you have a team of family or friends or peers, okay, that may not be working directly in your company, but you work with. You should always be thinking, how can I elevate other people? How can I help other people get a little bit higher and be better? Is this making people better? And the last, tolerate other people's differences. We naturally want to be with people that are just like us, right? You ever heard the word birds of a feather flock together? That's true. And we typically like to surround ourselves with people that have the same personality as us, the same type of work habits as us, the same type of behaviors or responses that we do. Here's what you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to want to put yourself around other people with strong character, but has different personalities and work types than you. Why is that? Because they will help you grow and learn, and you will absorb things from them you would have never gotten from people that are all the same as you. It makes you better. And if you are the boss, do not surround yourself with yes people, because yes people are always going to give you the easy answer to make you feel good. Sometimes you need that hard answer, the no people, to stretch you to be the best. I don't want to be okay. I want to be the best. I don't want to just have a all right life. I want to have a life that is fulfilled and successful. I don't want to have just okay character. I want to have strong, healthy character in life. But to do that, I got to have honesty. I got to look at myself. So ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your character. It's slavery. Do not be a slave to your past life. Guys, I'm glad we're growing together. And I'm glad we're looking at the internal health, because I promise you, if you cultivate your soul, you're going to cultivate yourself as a leader, and that's going to cultivate your church. We are going to be the best we can be for the people around us. And if you're enjoying what we're talking about, do me a big favor. Right now, I want you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell. Never miss a post on here at all if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening to us through podcast, subscribe to the channel and get your share on. Come on, share this out. Let people get a part of what we're doing here. And I'd love to hear from you. What did you think today stood out to you about character? What's one of those 5 areas you feel like, I think I'm struggling, man, with one of these 5 areas. One of those areas you're saying, I'm going to make the commitment publicly to grow in them. Love you guys. Till next time, pray God's peace.